Hi all, I hope this email finds you well. I recently learned that guns were invented in China between the years 900 to 1200. This prompted me to look further into it, and I was interested in what I found. So that's what this is about. Welcome to Fascinating Firsts. This is where I talk about first things in history that fascinate me. I am your host, Stick. So these guns aren't technically considered true guns, they're more considered proto guns. The way they work is that there's a piece of bamboo tube filled with gunpowder tied to a spear or a lance or something similar. In the late 1100s, things like shrapnel, pieces of porcelain, or small iron pellets were then added to the tube so they could be blown out by the gunpowder. These are considered proto guns because the projectiles do not occlude the barrel. This basically means that the pellets and projectiles inside the barrel were smaller than the barrel itself, which is a distinction from what we have today, where bullets typically fit tightly against the barrel and create a seal. Eventually, due to the amount of saltpeter increasing, the explosive power was also increased. In order to withstand this, the paper and the bamboo that the lance was made out of was replaced by metal. And in order to take advantage of that, projectiles were used that did better occlude the barrel. In 1259, a pellet wad that did fill the barrel was reported to have been used, and this is the first recorded bullet in history in 1259. It's very interesting. The Phylons barrels that were made of metal had appeared by 1276. By the late 13th century, the metal barrel fire lances had been used without the lance and therefore became guns as we know them. Kind of. This is because they had the three basic components: a metal barrel, a high nitrate gunpowder, and a projectile that completely occludes the muzzle, which makes the propellant effect greater due to less energy escaping around the projectile. This makes the projectile go further, which is, the whole point. Guns like the hand cannon were being used in the Yuan dynasty by the 1280s. Cannons that have survived, like this hand cannon and the Xanadu gun, have been found dating to the late 13th century, but there is speculation that they could be from even earlier in the 13th century. Speaking of the 13th century, a fun fact is that guns could shoot up to 3 meters by the 13th century. You could hit someone standing a whole room away. Isn't that wild? Anyways, in 1287, the Yuan dynasty deployed troops with hand cannons to quell a rebellion by this Mongol prince. The history of Yuan records state that the cannons caused great damage and such confusion that the enemy soldiers attacked and killed each other. Talk about friendly fire. I said, talk about friendly fire. Thank you. In the beginning of 1288, hand cannons were being used again. Li Ting's gun soldiers, or thus, carried the hand cannons on their backs. Passages in the history of Yuan about the 1288 battle also mentions the guns, with the first use of this word. It was used instead of this more ambiguous term, which means fire tube. This could be referencing the tubes of fire lances, proto-cannons, or signal flares. In the Mongol invasion of Japan, hand cannons may have also been used. Japanese descriptions of the invasion mention iron and bamboo pow causing light and fire and emitting up to 3,000 iron bullets. This was written around 1300 and also mentions these fire tubes were being used at the Battle of Tsushima in 1274 and at the Second Coastal Assault led by Hodon in 1281. This was written around 1360, mentions iron pow, which caused a great flash of light and a loud noise when fired. And this, which was written around 1370, mentions iron pow shaped like a bow. Guns are old. Guns are much older than I had originally thought as well. I unironically thought that the precursor to modern guns would have come from America, not just because it's funny to mock Americans for liking guns, it just feels like something they would do. I had no idea that China, of all places, would have been using guns from as early as the 10th century. It's really interesting to me. I love unexpected history where you think one thing, but then when you research it, it turns to be something else, and it's really interesting to look into. The only context that I had for early guns was the wrist cannon in Assassin's Creed 2, and I have no idea how accurate that is. I don't even know if it would have worked. And that's about it. I wanted to make a shorter video for my first video so I can kind of get a feel for the format and get a feel for what people like. If you did like this, please let me know in the comments, leave a like. And if you want me to talk more about guns, there's a lot more interesting stuff, like how they had been used in the Middle East by the 13th century, or at least known in the Middle East by the 13th century. There's also how they spread. There's how they became the guns as we know them today. There's a lot more interesting facts to do with this. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, heck, tell your pets. I can put some bird videos in the corner next time. Thank you for watching and taking this dive with me. I'll see you next time. Au revoir.